8.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Mahagunas. What are the Mahagunas? Very good. Mahagunas.
What's Maha mean?
Maha. Maha has to do with the mind, like,
Okay.
yeah, and gunas is like qualities, but they're not only qualities of the mind, you know, they're qualities you can find in food,
Right.
yeah. But for example, well, we're going to study the Prakriti later, so let me just go by part. Okay, so 3 components, sattva. The characteristics you have there on your I'll give you some more keywords. Is the energy of cognition. It's the pure essence of light and knowledge. It is clear. Rajas is the active form of energy. Principle of movement. Change and excitability. Tamas is the material and matter. Related to darkness and inertia. So remember that the 5 elements are born from tamas, but contain all the gunas, right? We know that, correct?
Yes.
By the combination of sattva and rajas, combined, they give place to 5 sensory organs, remember? Five motor organs and the mind. And from tamas, the 5 Tanmatras. And 5 elements are developed. You wrote it down? Now give me examples of Sattva Guna. Examples in every way.
Like intelligent person, very sharp person.
More than sharp is intelligence itself, like wisdom.
Peace, like
You
peace.
know, it's not, remember, wisdom and intelligence is not the same thing as knowledge. Knowledge is something you acquire, wisdom or intelligence is something you're born with. You know, so knowledge, you say, oh, he's very knowledgeable, very, you know, wisdom is more like innate. I mean, you can acquire wisdom through life, but these are qualities that are more like innate, like
Experiential. Just it naturally in them.
yeah, like natural within, like intelligence. But you can develop these things by studying, but this is through knowledge, so it's a little different. So give me another example for Sattva dosha.
Like an example in what sense? Like
Any, from food to
so sattvic
situations
food would be like
to
fresh food, like fruits, fresh vegetables.
fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, freshly
Seasonal.
cooked in season.
Warm.
Those are like sattvic foods. Like ghee is sattvic food. Like milk, but milk only when it's like raw and fresh boiled, you know, like really fresh, not the milk that we buy, you know. Like honey, like, you know, like that, those are examples. Like fruits, like fresh vegetables, like music, sattvic music, like the chanting of mantras, and that's like sattva. It induces sattva, it induces peace and tranquility.
Unconventional acts.
Yes, that's a sattvic act or like a sattvic person. It comes from a sattvic mind because your act is according to what you think, right? You act accordingly, I mean, for a normal person. That's another definition of health. Like when you say what you feel, what you say, or what you think is in line, you're healthy. I mean, it's a sign of health. But if you're feeling one thing and you say another thing and you do another thing, it creates a lot of imbalance, you know, because you're not living according to your own truth, your own standards, your own. So that's why, like, lying and all this sort of like things are so damaging to oneself because it's really destroying your plasma and your vata automatically there. You can see it on the tongue of the person. I've seen tongues that are so like really they look like animals, like dry and just like lines and open and wound, like they look like wounds, like when you cut something, you know, like meat. You know how meat, like when you cook it, that looks like. I've seen tongues like that, you know. So imagine the vata with the imbalance inside the mind, because everything is a reflection of what's inside, even though we can cover up with, but it's an expression, you know. So sattva is clear, right? Mm-hmm. You have their purity and knowledge. Adjective sattvic man lives in service of society with no expectation of recognition or reward or any ulterior motive. So that's pretty much, give me an example of a sattvic person.
Maybe like religious Gandhi,
Like Gandhi,
Mother Teresa,
like Mother Teresa. Like, well.
Buddha.
Huh?
Buddha.
Oh, yeah.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, literally. Those are like people like with sattvic, even though you need rajas to move and do your work, but the mind, the nature of the mind is sattvic. The nature of the mind is very difficult to change.
So
You can cultivate your mind, but the nature, the very nature, it takes a lot of effort. It is, you can. That's why we mutate and we become better and we evolve but that very nature, that core of the person, it takes a tremendous effort to be able to refine. But you can do anything because you're Brahma. You know? So that's like when you hear, oh, there's no change. Oh, I've seen change. I've experienced change to levels that you might think that's impossible. I've seen changes with my own eyes that you would say, not in this lifetime. You know? So to me, absolutely anything can be adjustable, altered, transformed. You know, so you understand sattva. Rajas, action and passion. Rajasic is the adjective. Rajasic means more for personal gain and achievement. So you see this a lot in like businesses and stuff. You know? Like you see people like stepping on one another. I mean, they don't care. They're just like, this is what I want, and I want to be the best Ayurvedic school. I mean, like, but it with a different intention, like the same intention. You know, you do something and you give it your all. You give it your love. You give it, but the expectations. There's one day where it needs to be dropped too, and you should be able to prepare yourself and do that in a way that you're able to do it, even in a sattvic way. You know, it's like, oh, I'm attached to my school. I can. No, there will be a moment where everything will just flow and transform, even into something else or into something. But if you're open, if you move, there's no so much suffering and attachment. Something that is attached, it cannot grow. It can grow, but it's attached to something. It's depending on something, like the bad weed, like the weed, like you know, like it grows, but. For something to grow, it's free. It should be free from attachment, you know. Even your kids, your family. I mean, but this is like different. So rajas, you even see people like in the hug. You can see a rajasic person. They're like, you know, like I've heard people like, hi, you know, you see the rajas. And that's not negative. It's like in that there's also range. There's also like, okay, rajasic, it could be like from 1 to 100. Like the same way of the sharpness of pitta and the heat of pitta. It could be like grades of that. So the same thing. Like rajas, you can have rajas, but they're not the rajas that the person who's going and stealing at a bank has. You understand? Like there's so many levels of this. That to sit and put this in a box is like ridiculous. I mean, it's not worth it, you know, because it's like all the colors in between, you know. So, Rajasic men lives more for personal gain and achievement. Now, give me an example of Rajas. Anything you can think of.
Spicy food.
Spicy food.
Rock music.
Rock music.
Chocolate.
It can be, yes. Yes. That was the only thing I had when I was giving birth, actually. The midwife put a little piece of chocolate in my mouth. I said, I couldn't anymore. That's the only thing that besides water I have. What else? when it comes to food, besides chocolate?
Anything that's not ripe.
Garlic.
Anything that is not ripe, like a green banana is rajasic. Like all the fruits that are green. That's why in Ayurveda we prefer, I mean, depending on the situation, but especially for Vata vitiations, like apples that are red, grapes that are dark, because they're sweeter in nature, they're more pacifying than, garlic is very rajasic. Onion, purple onion is a very sharp, very rajasic. I mean, like you learn slowly, and you slowly are gonna start rejecting food. That's why this school is gonna be total transformation for you guys, because you learn. The only way you can really transform, is when you understand something. Something is imprinted in your cells, and you really, not only at the mental level you understand it, but you start seeing, okay, why, and all the details, and then you understand. You're like, okay, why am I gonna do that? Like a normal, logical. By the way, manas is the mind. I'm sorry, maha like Maharaj, is the great.
Okay.
So it's the great. So change it in your notes. Manas is mine. I got confused. So now I
switch the Greek units.
Yes.
The Greek units.
Yeah, Maha. Just think about Maharaj. Like the king.
Yeah.
Exactly. Manas is mine.
Right.
Okay.
Manas.
Manas is mine. Okay, let me go back to this. Tamas. Ignorance and inertia. Tamasic person. Tamasic man has no problem about stepping on others' toes or get ahead of harming society. Even more than that, to me that sounds more like a Rajasic person. That is not so much a Tamasic person. Tamasic person is pretty much related to laziness and lethargy. So it's actually the man who doesn't go out and do what it needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's the person who rathers couch potato, I don't want to move, whatever. But tamas, don't confuse tamas with purusha. It's a whole different. Purusha is pure consciousness. Tamas is just something. It's just not steady like purusha is. It has the lethargy, the inertia, and the laziness. This is like a lazy person. But even a person who has done a lot of spiritual work, meditation, yoga, you can see in very subtle ways the tamas. Very subtle. It becomes very, but very evident. It's like seeing a dark spot in your white clothes. If you see a dark spot in your dark clothes, it's very, very noticeable. But when you see someone that has done lots of work that looks very composed, very honest, truthful, straightforward, clean, the appearance, any little fault, you'll be able to see it right away. And I'm sure you've experienced that. Anybody, the more you refine yourself, the more evident your faults will become. And it's totally okay. It's great. Because they become evident and you can work on those. When everything is so dark, you don't even know where to start or how to. So the more, don't worry on how you look or what you project. It's that which you do what's really important. The rest, who really cares? I'm talking about, in general. So it's very interesting how, so that's more like tamas. So yeah, like the tamasic nature, thank you.
That's the only way.
Okay. So the tamasic nature is, it's that, and you can see it very, even okay, you wake up every morning to do sadhana, to do some salutations, breathing exercise, to do some stretches, whatever. And even in your mind, you wake up and you're like, I'm just going to stay 2 more minutes. That is nothing but tamas in the mind, but very subtle, even though you get up and you do the work. So those tamas, even like I'm saying, the more refinement you have, the more evident those tamasic traits and moments will be to you. And then you recognize them. And you're like, okay, you know, or this food, I mean, you're eating it with the awareness that it will make you tamasic. So it's like a whole, that's when you do, like yesterday we were speaking about awareness and judgment. When we were speaking about artha and kama, the pursuit of wealth and pleasure. Remember? Like with awareness and judgment, that changes everything. Even though you're doing it and you know what you're eating is tamasic, but the awareness is there. And you can transform anything. So that's like sometimes, you know, when I first started studying Ayurveda, especially, I was very strict. I wanted everybody to be, okay, this is not good. You don't drink wine, the coffee, you don't. And then, you know, I learned, okay, if the coffee, if you added a pinch of cinnamon, nutmeg, and cardamom, it will reduce the dehydrating effects. And there are people that are not ready to let go of the coffee. And you need to accept that. You need to work within those. Otherwise, you'll be, I mean, who's ready for something like this? You see what I mean? So you start learning slowly and develop more compassion. But even within that, even within work, you can see your own talents. They're at such subtle levels. So anyhow, give me examples of tamasic food or substances.
Leftovers.
Leftovers are tamasic.
Ice cream, anything fermented.
Yeah, ice cream, imagine. Well, ice cream is not only cold, but it's wet and it's heavy.
Cheese.
Cheese is very tamasic. At least, you know, ice cream, if you like at lunchtime, you know, at least that coolness, like you would say lunchtime because the sun is at its peak from 11:30 to 2:30. So even though our culture said that breakfast should be the largest meal of the day, Ayurveda establishes that it should be between 11:30 and 2:30 because that's when your digestive fire is at its peak. Okay? So anything that's raw, like let's say you love sushi and you know anything that is uncooked, like most of the salads, leafy greens. We need leafy greens, but they're cool in nature. They're cool. That's why you don't eat them at nighttime. You don't. Like you see people, oh, I just had salad for dinner. That's what I do for dinner. That is so aggravating. Like really, like if you would know. I mean, of course, it's better than the Burger King, but it's not appropriate. According to Ayurveda. So,
What about beans?
depending on the bean, like dal, like moong dal, lentils, those are not, like the black beans and kidney beans, they're more dry in nature. So you have to soak them overnight to kind of sprout them a little bit so they're more digestive. Also, if you add a pinch of hing is called asafoetida. You can buy it at the Indian grocery store. It smells terrible, but once you cook with it, the smell goes away and the taste. Hing. Hing is something that if you add it to the beans, it reduces that gassy sensation or like that spacey guna that the bean has. So, but mainly for the ones like chickpea, like for example, like everybody loves chickpeas. Like those are, look at the bean. It's like you throw it against the wall, it's like it's hard, it's dry. So you know, it really depends. You can cook it, you can make hummus, you can do, but keep in mind that this is dry, like pasta is dry. You know, when you eat it like say rice pasta, could be okay or gluten free or whatever, but those people that eat pasta all the time, I assure you that they're constipated. Like when my son eats pasta, his bowel movements the next day, they're not the same. It's not like a well formed, it's like little pieces. It's amazing. So with a kid, you can really explore these things. Even better because they're like pure, you know, they're not so corrupted like we are, you know, like in the ways. So anyhow, more tamasic foods. You said leftovers, cheese, what else?
Meat.
Yes, I mean, it's a dead animal. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta become vegetarian. I'm not, actually, Ayurveda, they have some type of foods that are recommended for very debilitated clients, elderly, that is like bone with soup with bones and meat. But these are used mainly for a specific condition. You're gonna find Ayurvedic practitioners that will go for, but this is not the way we do it here. You know, that's not the way I teach, or I don't think any of us will teach that way. But yeah, it's not like you can tell the person, it's not like you have to become vegetarian. But for example, red meat, you educate and you say, you know, your digestive system is 32 feet long, to eat. So it takes for the meat to really leave your body like 14 days, 12 days to completely be removed. So imagine if you put a plate of meat outside for 3 hours and you look at it, what does it look like? What does it smell like? Imagine the heat in your body. 14 days. So that's why, like, when you get cancer or any kind of condition, MS or fibromyalgia, the first thing the doctor says, like, stop eating red meat. I mean, a doctor that's kind of educated in a holistic way. So why? Because they understand that it makes the body, that putrefact, that poison, that disintegration, the way it happens, it makes the body acidic. And in a body that is acidic is the perfect room for any kind of condition to happen like that. In a body that is alkaline, these cells cannot mutate. They just cannot in a body that is alkaline. What does make your body alkaline? Fruits, vegetables, grains, and fresh fruit. Of course, you can have, you know, like, so that's something like a general rule. And that's why Ayurveda say if you're gonna eat meat or like chicken, or, you know, for breakfast you can have eggs. For lunch, if you eat chicken or fish, or do it at lunchtime maybe. You know, at nighttime it's more recommended, like warm, fresh cooked foods, like soups, but substantial soups. You know, like root vegetables, like how do we call them? This thing that the Spanish culture, ajiaco. That this thing, it's like a big, like un ajiaco, but without the meat, you know, like, or if you're gonna have some meat, like very clean, you know, like say fish with like vegetables or something like that, but always cooked. So it's not like I said, oh, you're gonna be vegetarian. No, you're gonna find people that it's not suitable for them, it doesn't work, and that's perfectly okay. You work within what they can do, what they...
What about canned foods? Canned foods would be...
Canned food is highly tamasic, yeah. Because imagine, it doesn't matter if you say, okay, it's in water or in oil, or they put like some salt from... It can be sit, yeah, it's for how many years, you know, even that's why in work, in prison, all they do, like in prison, is all they eat is canned stuff because it's preserved. And how is it preserved? I mean, if you put like a piece of sardine or tuna or whatever, salmon in a piece of, in the fridge, I mean, how long would it really last being cooked? And in a can, it lasts for a year. Mm-hmm. So that tells you right then and there that this is not, you know. And your body will start, once you start making slight changes, your body will respond to this. And you say, no, I would die if I have, unless I have no choice. Like, okay, I have to eat, and then believe me, your body will transform it. So going back to my thoughts, the one I had before that I wanted to share with you, if you have someone like is gonna have like the piece of red meat and they enjoy it, just, you know, don't torture yourself. They're like, oh, last night I had red meat, I just want to die. And that right then and there, it's like all the tissues that you're forming will be corrupted. I mean, if you're gonna do something, just do it like knowing that this is what you're going to enjoy, and it's going to nurture every single cell of your body, and it's going to be okay. So please do not really torture yourself. Okay? I'm not saying to you to do it, but you have the ability to transform anything. That's how people back in those days, they only had like wine and bread. And they made all the tissues, and they would be alive for 100 years. How do you explain that? They were not vegetarian, but they were probably where their mind probably was different. They worked in different conditions. They were like the same thing, like in India and these places where they only have basmati rice and naan and paratha or whatever, like a little. And the body makes the vitamins, the minerals, everything from that. So I mean, this is like a perfect machine, but we do have access to proper food. I mean, to better nutrition, you know. So anything else? Tamasic person. Give me an example about a tamasic person.
Falling asleep on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're exhausted, you know,
No.
like if you're super tired, like me last night, I fall asleep standing up, you know, like it's not. What else? Actions. An example of tamasic action.
Someone that's very like laid back, like
Someone that complains a lot.
Someone that complains a lot. Someone like black magic and this kind of practices are very tamasic because remember, tamas has a lot of darkness in it. So anything that's really dark, it's tamasic. So it's not only like things that are poisoned or leftovers or rotten food, but also these acts that we can do or thoughts that we like greedy. That is not raja, it's more tamasic. You know what I mean? Like greedy, like hoarding, like you know, those are tamasic qualities. So you understand, even in this, in psychology we'll go more into that, you know, because you know, even this tamas, sattvas, and rajas, you can bring them to the emotional components, spiritual, you know, like all that.
So the gamblers are tamasic.
The gamblers are rajasic and tamasic, but a lot of rajas for gambling, because you have to be like this and that. And I'm gonna do, you know, it's a lot of rajas and a lot of tamas. There are places that geographically you're gonna see. For example, Miami. How would you consider Miami? Rajas, tamas, very rajasic and tamasic. So, like when I went to New Mexico, I mean, very, very rajasic place. Like their mind, I think it was like the altitude is so high in the desert that people is very vata aggravating. So everything they move. But it's more in the mind. Here is more in the actions because also the heat. So you see, like geographically, that's why that shutdown is so important, the Thailand of the season. Remember, because where you live, it also is gonna provoke or increase those gunas within you. So that's why you make your home. You make it. Let's say you live in this place, and you're not moving from Miami, but where you live, your condition, you make it in a way that is in harmony with you or with what you want to work on. You see, like your home, like your friends, like that. But everything starts first within, because that energy will generate whatever it is that you're going to be attracting. So that's how it works. Okay, so any questions about sattva, rajas, and tamas? Where do they come from?
From
Ahamkara. Yeah, but what happens? What happens that they split? What are they? Where do they exist? What happened with these mahagunas?
Integrity, no?
They exist in perfect equilibrium with integrity. They always there, but at that point there's no sattva, rajas, and tamas. They split through that creation of the ego. Through self-awareness, it makes that prana, the pulsation of prana, of cosmos prana, makes this energy to be split into three things. That same ego, that same ahamkara. it gets split into three, and that's why those three are within us. Even though you have a tendency to be maybe more rajasic, more sattvic, or more tamasic. But you have all that because it was a split, the energy was split, and all this is like us, so we have all of it. We just have tendencies. The same way as the doshas and the elements, that we have more of one than the other. You might have more air than me, maybe I have more air than you, or vice versa. So, what else happened? Yeah. What happened when they split?
Raja interacted with Sattva, and then
Right.
I wasn't reading that.
No, but that's good. It's there, so use it. You know.
And then the 5 sensory organs and 5 motor organs might get created, but they're there. Because it still doesn't exist. Anything physical.
No, it gives place to. Like, remember when I say mind, that's what I said to you guys yesterday. Just be open-minded. This is very abstract. When we're saying mind, it's not what you think that mind is. When you say sense organs, it's not like hearing, touching. Remember, these things are not tangible. You cannot touch. They're like all around. So we're speaking at a different level. When we're talking about organs of action, we're not, the body's not here yet. Okay? So it's okay. You can say mind, as long as you know in this context what we're talking about, which you do. So, what else?
Then Raja interacts with Tamas, and then the Mantras and the elements are developed, and then the interaction between the Tamas and Sattva together then creates.
Right, it's not the interaction with tamas and sattvas, it's the interaction of what they create, what they develop into. It's not, because Rajas is there too, and it has a big part. So it's the interaction of what everything that is developed from the interaction of these gunas.
The mind, the sense organs, the sense faculties, the tanmatras, the elements.
The mind and the soul.
The organic and the inorganic.
Universe. Make the organic living. Okay? So we go back to where? To scientific. Some people that you want or not this week, it's like you gotta have it that way, okay? So is this clear? Can we start with the Gurvadi Gunas? Which are 20. And those Gurvadi Gunas develop from the Mahagunas. Okay?
Deja vu.
You just had?
Deja vu.
I just had an astral projection. You were probably yesterday, you were here. Because remember, there's no time, according to Sankhya. So there's no past, present, and future. So you have access to all of it.
So I was already here yesterday.
There's deja vu. It was probably, not necessarily, some people speak about the deja vu as like a past life experience, that it was exactly the same. Yeah, probably you do, like we were speaking about yesterday, past life experience with all of us together, but probably was in a different place. Not in this classroom with those specific boards and you dressing in green scrub. But what maybe you had was an astral projection. So you can be in many different places if you are able to tap into that space.
You were teaching us this 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, well, we guys were doing house crop. We're probably
We were in a cave somewhere.
little things hanging. I was probably a boy. Okay, this is the time when I don't like the recording. But they will be smiling also.
We have to keep it.
Okay, so the Gurvadi Gunas develop from the Mahagunas. This is for you not to be confused. Okay, is this so different than the Mahagunas? Are these sattva, rajas, and tamas? Remember, sattva. What is the quality of sattva? It is light. It is subtle. Exactly. So now we're going to develop these 20 gunas from those main sattva, rajas, and tamas. Yes.
Is it with the U or with an A? Garvani or Gurvani?
Gurvani.
Gurvani.
I'm sorry, what?
With A, with U.
Oh yeah, that's I thought that. Typo. Okay. You can make a note. All organic and inorganic substances, as well as thoughts, and actions, have definite attributes. Charaka categorize those in 10 opposite pairs. Charaka, from the Charaka Samhita, right? Remember that first textbooks from the School of Physicians? So Charaka delineated those into 10 pairs. Those are Guru is heavy.
I'm sorry, you said Charaka Samhita divided those into 10?
Categorize this into 10 pairs of opposites. Lagu, light. I'm just going to do 1A and 1B, okay? Is that better? So you know the opposite, or you want to do 1, 2, 3?
No, that's right. That's right. Makes sense.
2A, Manda, Dal. If you want to create a song, like I did years ago,
Oh, please. Are you going to share it with us?
I could look for the paper for next class. I could bring it. It was fun.
Or that
It
could
was
be a
like-
great homework assignment.
It was like Lugu, Lagoma.
That could be a great homework assignment.
That could be a great homework assignment.
We already have enough for this lesson.
Thanks, Francis.
I was just waiting for the
Next year.
No, but that was very interesting. Actually, I came up with it in India because the way it was taught here, for me, it was not in Sanskrit. So I had a very hard time when I went to India because they speak like, Lagu and Guru and Manda, and I was like, oh my God. So we made a song, and it was great. And we learned. So you have Tikshna, sharp, breathe in. Shita, cold. Ushna, hot. Snigdha, by the way, Snigdha, in some places you're gonna see as a sneha. Sneha means oil too. And I love, like a sneha, we call it like, let's say, oh, she needs some sneha, like she needs some love, because anything that's oily, it will promote the healing of something that is dry and constricted and just so sneha. When you think of sneha, you think of love, of juice, of smoothness, of that kind of energy. So snigdha is oil. That's why sneha. There's a name like some babies are named Sneha over there, and the meaning is like love. Like kind of.
Sneha, how do you spell that?
Oily, not oil. Ruksha. Dry. Shlakshna. Shlakshna. Smooth or slimy. Kara. Rough. Sandra. Dense or solid. Drama, fluid, or liquid. Mrudu, mrudu, mrudu. Yes. Soft. Katina.
It's my cousin's name.
What's that?
That's my cousin's name. Katina.
That's her name?
Yeah, that's her name.
Her name is Hard.
My sister-in-law is named Sandra, and she's pretty dense and solid.
I'm just gonna say, now the family watch these.
Stira. Static. I don't want to be stira. I can't. Shala. Mobile. Stula. Gross or bulkiness. Sukshma, subtle. It's like, I just felt you guys, like, oh my God.
I need to buy more flashcards.
Was that?
I said I need to buy more flashcards. It's a lot of words.
Sukshma, subtle. And it's okay, for testing, if you want to use the English words, it's okay. I'm just preparing you for later on, that's all. 10A. Pichila.
Isn't there a panchakarma that has, is it Pishizi?
Yeah, Pichila.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a treatment. Yeah, it's like this bolus of medicated herbs or rice with milk. And you
Yeah.
make like this bags and this boluses.
Mhm.
And you kind of like stimulate like the magma points in the body and you give massage with it. So good. But the spell is different. This is Pishila, the other one is Pisishila.
Pisishila,
But
yes.
it's Pishila, cloudy or sticky. And Vishada. Vishada, clear. Okay. In the first book of Dr. Ladd, you're going to find a very good description of the gunas on this one. I don't know if you all got this one already or no, but it has a very good description. But also online you can find, I'm going to give you keywords, but he dedicates a good section to the description of them. So it's in your pages, like the pages that you read. So. Okay, so we'll start with Guru, heaven. Guru Guna reduces Vata and Pitta. And it's going to aggravate or increase Kapha. Reduce error going down, increase error going up. It promotes growth in the body. Promotes growth. And nourishes the dhatus. Dhatus, by the way, means tissues.
It decreases fat, promotes growth, nourishes fat.
DHATUS. Yes.
Apples, you said, was tissues, right?
Yes. Also, you can add there, it increases malas and codes increases malas. Malas means waste products. And codes shrotas. Shrotas means channels. You're gonna become, guys, this is the first time you listen to these words. These words, we're gonna be using them on every class. So please don't get overwhelmed. You're gonna learn them slowly. I mean, you haven't even learned about the shrotas. You'll learn it next month. So don't even, I'm just telling you that guru is a heavy quality. So imagine cheese. What is cheese gonna do? Cheese is gonna increase kapha, absolutely. Cheese is gonna promote growth. That's why little kids, you want them to have like, even though like it's not healthy, but you see like in our culture, they can have like, oh here, milk and cheese and yogurt, because it promotes growth. In this case that I'm explaining, like cheese itself, it does not promote growth. This is for herbs that have a good quality. Okay, so when I'm speaking of cheese, don't think that it promotes growth. This is a quality that is going to be used when you study the herbs. Everybody's with me? Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is cheese going to do? It's going to create what? Where does it apply cheese here? Increasing kapha and in malas and coating the shrotas. The growth and the nourishes the dhatus does not apply in this example. Now, why increases malas? Because the cheese is going to give you mucus formation. It's going to obstruct the shrotas, quotes, the shrotas. These are channels. So when you eat this, it's going to create like a coating in the shrotas. And that's why toxicity, and that's why when you look at the tongue is going to look white. Because it has like fermentation inside your GI tract. So for this specific example, cheese, now when you study the herbs, you're going to see how a good herb can promote growth and make the tissue formation a lot more efficient. Is that clear? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Manda.
What is the rotas? What does it mean?
Shrotas are channels. Say yes. You're going to study them. So basically, it coats the channels, it increases the waste products, it nourishes the tissues in the body, and it promotes growth. Is that clear? Now, on the mind, it may impose inhibitory effects of unreceptive capacity. So on the mind, something that is heavy, like for example, when you have a very large meal and you come back to class, how do you feel? You cannot understand. Like, seriously, like yesterday was our first day and the assignment, and I told Francis, I cannot eat breakfast. To Francis like this. Why? Because I want to be clear, like completely clear in a way that this knowledge can, it's the first class, it's the first time that I interact with your energy. Now I'm familiar, I know. Now I can be more, so yesterday I want to be clear, so that's why I don't want to eat. So I'm like available, like more open. So you see how these gunas can operate, okay? I'm just giving you examples so you can relate to that. So on the mind, it imposed inhibitory effects, basically on receptive capacity. So your capacity to perceive and to understand things, when you have guru foods or guru exposures to this guna, they're going to be inhibited. Even though it promotes growth and even though it nourishes the dhatus. So it really depends, again, when you study herbs, what is that you need it for? And